Hey everybody, hope you're having a good day. It's Wednesday and we're back. And stream schedule's back to normal. Well, it's technically back from yesterday, but you know what I mean. Casual playthrough's back up and running. We're continuing our playthrough of Great Attorney Chronicles. We are on episode 4 at the second game, and I believe we were just about to get the fun 6 as our client. Let's just get into it. Twisted Karma and his last abode. Ah, yes. I only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutors, was hunted down and mass murdered. So-called professor. Oops. Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. And that was Genshin Asogi. Exactly. Sorry. I held a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Insogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I'd be literally the scribe prosecutor until he consented. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? The man in charge of the professor's case inquiry, Lord Mael Strongheart. What? What? Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted. I'm sure he must have seen your seal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. Anyway, time passes. Then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you? Ah! And all things as a lawyer. I fear I'm honestly the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. You're obviously fluent of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, the hatred had festered inside me. I could no longer control it. And I can understand why. Now I know the history. But in the same way that I long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life, to Kazuma Sogi, I am the bane of his. The reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. Grayson's transfer to the Paris police purger had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Oh yes. Living about it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean? It's the first time I've ever encountered it. Oh! Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Grayson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. Sounds like the ministry has even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were far ignorant about Inspector Grayson's standings. We heard that he was considering something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Grayson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy. Oh my, 10 years ago? Why is that so surprising? All the spies were considered a description of the body at the time and rarely performed. And my brother was, of course, a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Grayson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. This powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. Right. So, you must have a great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life. Inspector Grayson. I bet the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Ah, yes. That's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Strongheart informed us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. And embarrassed. As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That I don't know. Oh? I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. We have something in common with Lord Van Seeks after all, Miss Naruhodo. A talent for misplacing things. No! This has nothing to do with me! Don't drag me into it! Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese! Oh dear. The rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. But it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh! That's the first time he's ever used my actual name. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing that I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Seeks! From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now, I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wish I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese, who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known with the same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asogi. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? Back then, I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I looked to the future of hope. Since then, I've protected myself against betrayal and refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Miss Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I want to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me? Of course I will. It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo. Then my life is in your hands. For Lord Fan 6. That must have been an incredible hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend, Kazuma. Okay. Second November, 8:56 a.m. The Old Bailey, Defendants Amphitheater. There's that old familiar feeling again. Crushing pressure of this historical courthouse. Actually, no. It's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There is a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there, I suppose? Yes, I think so. It could only be the results of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my! I do apologize. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details, however. I understand that no jury has been selected. A trial by a jury? Well, that's just like a trial of the professor. The trial of the professor 10 years ago. A closed court. Good morning, my dear fellows! Mr. Sholmes! Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? An outright victory for science, must you agree? Oh, it's back to its normal color. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ha! What's the one man is a little hair problem? Is to another a day of drinking dubious potions after dubious potions. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning! Oh dear. I over you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Oh, I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Jones. And good morning to you, Mr. Ripper. I'm delighted to see a face full of vim. And are you? I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my parley engagement with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is far greater than from the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I can really commend you. What an honor. And that would be your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer is a very great mind. My own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Gina! What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose. Father! Shouldn't be at the symposium? It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. I should be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Photo. Oh, yes, Gina. Why do you agree to this, eh? Why did you come on? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him not. What? It was him one. What killed the boss? I'm sorry, Gina. But I just don't believe that. But it weren't him! Who was it? I don't know that yet. I don't care who calls him. Well, what? The Reaper's just a name. It's just a person at the end of the day. And it turns out that it was him who killed the boss. They got up him. Battery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loving. Eh? At least that may be some solace to the deceased. Please, Odo. Get whoever did this for the boss. Gina. I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you gotta find who done this and make that wretch pay. Turn to the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way to the courtroom once, please. Alright, Dad, here we go. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Fan seeks. One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign country of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape this situation. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. This tiny shining a light on all these dark events. A matter of truth is revealed. We're going to have to look at it straight in the eye. Oh, is that Jones or? That may have did the wrong place for that. Oh. 2nd November, 9:20 a.m. Old Billy Courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. And we are here to conduct a fair, just trial of the defendant, Baron von Six. Counsel of the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin with? The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, Kazuma-sama. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. Feels. I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution bench. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey. has been a screws like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind the scourge. In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Grayson's murder. The truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions for the judiciary. Accordingly, these are to be conducted as a closed trial with no members of the public present, by Her Majesty's direct orders. How would that work, my lord? The burden of all arbitrations and adjudications fall on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the jury's bench shall remain vacant today. No members of the public are present. May I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord? They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and close an equitable trial. Members of the judiciary. Oh my. This is a very unusual trial already. There was, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings to which I must elaborate. The counsel for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain. Please, Your Honor. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And I stand here in the courtroom now, I'm quite certain. And as I stand in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Cosmo. Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Osoke, your opening statement, if you please. Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on 1st November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats in Snow Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an own single-room rented property. Yes, Inspector Thomas Grayson, a name known very well to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago. Professor's case. Yeah, resolution. Okay. I want to make sure I got the name right. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported at the same time. Yes, that's what Eunice was too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was curled up in one corner. I believe that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly. How has the range been determined? There were scorch marks around the entry room. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. The powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happened when the target is at point-blank range. See, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel. We got the all spy report, then. The murder weapon has been found lying beside the victim. And have you managed to assert the owner of this firearm? No, my lord. Not conclusively. Bravo, Cosmo-san. I'm not trying to use a gun as evidence when its preventions can't be proven. Furthermore, my lord, as I explained, the revolver fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There was a candelabra mounted on that wall. The tip of the candle beside the tip of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plans of the crime scene as evidence, please. As you wish, my lord. Then we got the alright. Is this Fenso Street room Inspector Grayson's private abroad? No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Bone. But there is precious little furniture inside, and it's generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Grayson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or another. When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witness and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot. So, the details of this case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. A name, please, Counsel? Naturally. The accused himself. Lord Van Six? As a prosecutor, he would lead in the oath of office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth. Very well, but the defendant take to the witness stand. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Baron von Steeks, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Steeks, that you heard the prosecution Suzuki's opening per se? I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away, namely why you were there in the room on Fensto Street at the time in question, and what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Van Steeks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come, since you become known as the Reaper. A part of me has been dreading it. Before my testimony then, witness. Oh god, this is gonna be the most... If people could... The fact of the incident. I was investigating Grayson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard a gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Professor Grayson appeared before me. That testimony was the whole truth? It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in the room with no living occupants? And a moment later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes? Is that it? You're right. You haven't explained anything. Like anything. In fact, that could barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. It turns out you may have a way with words, Prosecutor Osogi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word. It's laughable. Let's get in the cosmo. He's not behaving like himself at all. Very well then. And so, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, my lord.
Hold it!
You were investigating the inspector? What are there for? I'm not at liberty to say. Sorry? I identified the distinct possibility that Grayson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. It's got to understand, then, that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene. No. I was privy to his moment in advance. Fine. I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address so she was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the man's office? In Japan, that alone would consider a very serious offense. As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Francis? I was aware of the possible consequences. So, in summary, you were investigating the victim. And yet, you refused to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoy such freedom to choose what to false on their oath. Ugh. Why did I ever think I could defend this man?
Hold it!
Okay. Have you ever been to the address before? No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigation into Grayson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all impossible to make out anything. But at 5 p.m., the sun would only have just gone down. It was still, that was a mistake on me. It would have still have been reasonably light outside. The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed that the victim was already lying on the floor. There were no artificial lights in the room, you say? You quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I had a feeling there was a small oil light burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain. Look at my Hodo. There's a small desk in the room just here. Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it. As well as a frame photograph. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate. And what did you find? Nothing. I never actually reached the desk.
Hold it!
So, who fired the gun? I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room. But you said it was very dark in there. Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another presence. Another's present. Ah! Then could it be... Then the gunshot was actually origin from somewhere outside the room? No, that's out of the question. Oh. Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder. This is going from bad to worse. And you said that the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor. Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part. Certainly then, the gun you heard from before the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. But then, where on earth was the gun that was fired? Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I too would dearly like to know that.
Hold it!
Okay. A man, you say? Well, the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on Franco Street. Who are these merchants? A number of them have set up their stalls directly beneath the window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They all, well, given Stephen said they heard the blinker shot. And without fall of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. Yes, Gina's told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process. You're supposed to be the Reaper. First man came in immediately, noticed the revolver in my hand, and fled. A policeman patrolling on Franco Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention to that direction.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear? I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was. Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling into the ground just beforehand? At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the screams of the man who came inside first, nothing more. See. After that man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Grayson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere, I have no idea.
Objection!
Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination clearly revealed that the accused, Baron Fonseca, is lying on multiple fronts. What is that supposed to mean? And what's the smoothie? Oh, gracious, Kunzel! The defendant's lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claimed that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct. No, that's impossible. Proving by this candelabrum. How does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see that it was blown off by a powerful impact. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle. The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly a different length. Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long. We can reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together. Which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others. That's must be because that particular candle was extinguished while the others were still burning. Ah! That's right. When the candles were hit by the bullet, the obvious one out. But the other two candles would still have been burning. So the fact is, victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum. And the accused claimed that he couldn't see the body. Clearly contradicts those facts. And now, to the next lie. There's more! The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In an almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right. We saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police document cannot be divulged, however. They include a murder, a number of reports from various historical cases. The oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar. And there's a common thread linking all of those documents on that board. Indeed. What is the common thread, Council? They're all related to cases prosecuted by Baron von Six. All of them? And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Good lord! Interestingly, none of these defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. Oh no! In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations. Yet the Reaper's hideout, and yet the Reaper would claim never to have been in his own secret hideout. No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards. Backwards? Explain, Council. Inspector Grissom was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret house, he was killed. I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hands. What? What? Order! However, I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Baron Fostik is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Osugi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with a known fact. All I have done is state the truth as I know it. This one's done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawn on his experience as a defense lawyer to build his prosecution case. And it's formidable. Until you must submit the board you assume to the court's evidence. I believe it has a fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence. Thank you, my lord. According to that, what the? Oh, what's this? It's not a hurdle! Look! It's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks like a handprint. It's color. It's blood! It's blood, isn't it? That's looking, man. Oh dear. How disturbing. There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on there, aren't there? This paper from 10 years ago, and burning with age, look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, it's the same red-haired league advertisement that Mr. Jones had picked out. And do you remember? There was a red herpes at the scene too. This is Victor Grayson and Expo on the red haired league there. Alright, I'm just going to be back in a sec. We will continue this real soon, so quick little break and we'll be back to this soon. I am back. Let's continue. Yes, and now the prosecution would like to call a new witness to the stand. Witness who saw offense unfold on the day in question. There are mentions in the previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes, the street seller who heard the gunshot and went running to the room. Very well, we'll take the witness in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand. Certainly, my lord. Oh dear. So witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Names, we don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us. We're just free and easy. Sell what we like, live where we want to live. I give them all they can stir as they walk down Pranzo and spit a few words into a first for them. Ah. Will I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling words on the street? Ha! Everyone calls me gossip. I shall jaunty little tippets. This is passerbys, you know. Jaunty little tippets. An absolute smasher for you, sir. Right back guinea it is. 16 pence for it's the price, not a penny less. Wait, you're actually trying to sell to me now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Right, man. Give him the money and see what it is. Hey, man, cancel. All right. 6 pence it is. You won't forget it, sir. Now, gotcha. Listen, ears on. Just between us, a young couple in Slay Street had just had twins. Is that it? No, that's not. It's gossip, isn't it? Isn't it? It wants to spread, but it's a bit of you in your mouth, of course. I got more, you know. Wanna just see one? 6 pence a piece. It is, if you're curious. I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely, that unusual bruise or whatever it is that it's poking out from under your collar. What about the next business stand? What name do you go by and what do you sell? Me, I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, isn't it? I sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids. What the 6 pence a pop. What do you say? You weren't exaggerating with little. Did he actually sell? Oh yeah. The second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that they get 100, they blow up the school. Not the most savory of ideas, young lady. What are you saying then, eh? One part with 6 pieces for a pop? Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you know a little secret. If you get 100 then, you can blow up the whole courtroom. Ride the woman. Give her the money and see if she's right. Hey, the woman, cancel! Alright, I'll buy one. Lovely stuff, right then. This is something a bit extra for just for you. The Venus special, only 600 pence. 600? It's 100 of my regular fireworks. The light's gone. Nothing little about that, is there? And there will be nothing little but the punishment if I blew up the old Bailey either. Okay, Venus Flycracker. Venus Flag Special Flycracker consisting of 100 small fireworks at 6 pence each. What sort of bank could it make? And the last business, what name do you go by and what do you sell? I'm a thinker, me. Think all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. Because I stand there on the street, watching the world go over me. They call me the Observer. Yeah, get over it, old man. Everyone calls you Sandwich and you know it. So you don't actually sell anything? Okay. Problem, sure. There is a problem half, as I say. I give advice, I do, and think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no. Come to think of it. Okay. That had a face. Oh. No more purchase today, please. Well. Yeah, quite the cast here, seems. They conduct their business on Snow Street from morning to night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene. I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose. Okay. Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on, witnessing crime. Well, I'll be bagger, I thought. Just with us. Finish the mellow! What shall I do? What am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw! What I think is, if all what we see is light and shadow playing with our eyes, is any of it real? Very well. The court brought here the form testimony of these 3 witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident. Alright, the witness account. Alright, we saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything the moment we went to the building. Alright. It was less than a minute after the Reaper got inside. Then we all heard a big bang. Seems to me that quick to talk and quick to walk gossip couldn't wait to go see what happened. Yeah, and there, and into the room, and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over a dead body, the dead body. I was scared off the death me. I ran out to find a copper. If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they say going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Grayson, and the accused Baron van Six. I've seen pictures of that Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folks love stories like this. I made myself a tidy sum already. Wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. All those flats on Francois Street are unoccupied. Certainly they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot. The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased. And we know the leaseholder seen the way is Hugh Bone. The testimony the court has just heard would appear to leave very little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime. No! Thank you for your condor, my lord. Because of events you may use the cost to summon the witness, and I just realized something. Have you an idea, Mr. Hurdle? We're starting at the end of the string of fireworks. Sorry. It's just that it's the special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. Shall we find out? What? But see, I could blow up the courtroom. Alright, that was a fairly sizable bag. My ears just ringing, Mr. Hurdle. Sounds almost exactly like a gunshot. Interesting. Have you? Oh. I think I may have just figured out where we... Yes, Milan. In a close court like this without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinions matter. I had to break down this testimony somehow. Alright.
Hold it!
Okay. Then when you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Grayson and the defendant, Lord Van Six? I suppose so. And the likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I'll tell you one thing. It was the Road Reaper that went in last, and that's for certain. Just behind Inspector Grayson, did they arrive at the same time as each other? Oh no, not at all. No. The first fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard the gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that? Am I sure? Am I sure? Does it seem likely that I have forgotten a fellow with bright red hair like that? Does it? Yeah. His hair is really red, wasn't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even. That fire red mop still burns on the inside of my eyelids. It is. Wait a minute. You're saying the man was a redhead? Weren't you listening? Were you listening, Jump? Aye. He was a redhead and had a big trunk with him as well. But Inspector Grayson hair is in red. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It seems like this person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Grayson at all, but some other third party. No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? How about look at this pitch as this photograph of the victim taken at the scene? Yes, that's Inspector Grayson, alright. On the red hairpiece. Ah! Of course. We saw one on the floor when we were investigating the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe that Mr. Grayson wore a hairpiece, though. So why on earth would he be wearing something like that? The color does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel. And what became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene. It just disappeared? What? Do you expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you? We definitely saw him in the dock going in. No question about that.
Hold it!
By which presumably you mean the gunshot. I said these little things, don't I? How do I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I've always thought it was possibly sound a little bit like this, doesn't it? And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building? That's right. It was almost straight away. Bang! It went. Just like that. Well, he's a ripper, isn't he? It's what the French call a fait accompli. When the Reaper's around, people are going in the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it? I think we get the message. The Reaper couldn't allow the inspector to with after he discovered the secret item. There could be no clever motive for the crime. Yes. It's certainly an admirable, credible motive. Red. And at that point, you ran inside, is that correct?
Hold it!
So when gossip ran to see what happened, what had happened, did you go too? Well, me, I'm a bit hampered, you see. All the signs are that I can't move very well. You were away behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and the big sand in your hand. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible you and I have met before? I'm nobody, me. The signs are what make me who I am now. I signed, therefore I am. So, you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago then? I might be mistaken, but I believe his charming has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I agree. He's claiming for a lot. Turn down King Henry Street and the Black Willower's Arms is just there. Oh dear. You made him hide behind his sign. Life is full of surprises.
Hold it!
Susan, you were the first person to arrive on the scene, is that right? And then what? Kick the door open like a professional I did? And yell out, "What's going off here?" Lord Van Six claimed all he heard was a man scream, though. I was dark inside the room. No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall. Really? Well, and there was a fella collapsed on the floor. And just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside. Ah, I see. Even though Lord Van Six claimed not to have seen any such lights in the wall. The next thing I noticed was someone standing right next to the body. The accused, Baron Van Six. That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it. I'm no lily-liver coward. I stood my ground and gave that Reaper a cold, hard stare myself. Excuse me! Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich? There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head. Just 2 slices with no middle. So I don't know what you could want from me. I think that made me just remember something. Have you heard Mr. Gossett's last statement? I mean. But what I think is, we're all nothing's really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers. That's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap shut now. Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich. When he saw the Reaper, fell clean over his backside. That's it? Oh, you rotten beggar. I told you to keep that secret. He screamed he did. screamed and scrabbled off on all fours. That's all I want to say. Mr. Gobbett, is that true? The floor is dead slippery, that's why. Landed my hand and I felt me full of blood, did I? Yuck. What? A pool of blood? Listen here. Even though I was sprawling on the floor, I still keep giving the Reaper a cold hard stir. Don't you forget it. Let's go back a little. Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood in your hand? I did. I happened to the best of times, doesn't it? So I was scared. So I slid over. We can keep it between us, can't we? No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony. Oh, if I must. The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned detail at once. Okay. I slipped over and got blood on my hand, so I quickly wiped it off the floor.
Hold it!
You wiped your hand on the floor? Well, who wants blood on their hand, eh? Horrible stuff. And they may have followed. They've done it. I've done it. Note how. I don't think that might be a problem. Does it really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor? They get cleaned up in the end, won't they? Don't make such a fuss. That's the message from all of us. Is something wrong, Quintel? No, my lord. I don't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor, that's all. Don't come to me with all that. You can't intimidate me. I know I did. I wrote it off on the floor. The blood. I wonder. Could that be what happened? It's Naruhodo. I don't have all the answers yet. But I think we may have uncovered a final clue.
Hold it!
So you didn't run into the room with your friends? I'm not that sort of girl. Sorry? I'm a till little thing, me. I was too scared to go in there. Oh, right. I see. Oh, Libby and the witch ran in there. And then I heard a sort of old lady scream. Well, that was me, that wasn't me, I swear. If I'm a gentleman, I stick my honor on. I wonder what on earth was going on there. What was going on? Which is when you went to find the policeman. And I ran to a copper as soon as I turned the corner. I ran straight into the place. Didn't I do well, eh? Just between us. The copper's eye nearly popped out of his head when he saw the Reaper. I never felt more uncomfortable in all my life. And the defendant was arrested on the spot, I believe. Considering the catalog of killings the Reapers had carried out, it was a particularly auspicious end. And we can't find any holes in his testimony. I'm afraid the judge would give a ruling of guilty, Miss Naruhodo. The truth is, though, the combined testimony is fairly damning. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any obvious problems with their statements, does there? Still, if Lord Fantasy really is innocent, and I'm almost certain that we'll find something in there that doesn't quite add up. You don't think that one of these three could be the true culprit, do you? I don't know. What I do know is that there's more to this case that has yet to be brought to light. Okay. Okay. Uh.
Objection.
Oh, I found it! So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else do you expect you to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection.
The police found no such handprints on the floor during their investigation. What exactly is the defendant's thing? If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Soki. Certainly, there's no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint in blood left very near clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. Ah! Oh yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinct color of blood. Ah, you're dead right! That's my right hand! I know it anywhere!
Objection.
The witness definitively testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection.
It's not the board itself if the board itself had fallen over on the floor. In that case, it's quite possible the witness handprint to have ended up there. Just look at the floor plot. This is in the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room with the victim, in the upright position. Someone had toppled it while lying on the floor at the time. It would have been a considerable distance from the body. I fell over when I came across the body. So I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. In other words, the defendant's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. There's a very definitive contradiction here, for which there must be a reason. I think you formulated a proper hypothesis, Counsel, regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found in the scene. I have, my lord. The discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprints are explained by the board moving, I think. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As you can see, it is upside down. So it is! Chris says, so it is! If the witness put his hand against the board's fingers should be pointing upwards. What? What does that tell us? It tells us one simple fact. When the handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested, which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What?
Objection.
You're claiming that someone moved the notice board after the shooting? And tell the court who? I don't know that yet. But the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point. And that would be position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the instance, where would you maintain the board in that situation? I say here.
Take that!
It was right here, my lord. Goodness. No. I'm afraid I don't quite see your logic. I'm disappointed, Brunusaka. In Japan, we taught you to have patience and respect for your elders. Until the soldiers teach your logic, you will know your place and not move from that spot. Ah! Hi, President Cosma. It almost sounded unreasonable at first. I was just thinking about you. Unreasonable? Try unfathomable. Anyway, I think I have an answer now. I know my place, or rather, in the board's place.
Take that!
Oh.
Take that!
Okay, this is the only possible. Oh, okay. Let's sort of get the continues back. Alright.
Objection!
Oh, right.
Take that!
Okay, so this is the only possible location. Immediately adjacent into the doorway. If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room, it was dark. He couldn't see the body. Frick! If the nose would have been there, then the whole body would have been completely hidden from view. The light from the candles wouldn't have been blocked, making the room appear to be darker.
Objection!
But the accused also claimed that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in his precise words, just as I picked up the firearm and examined it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. And it was only then that the body of Inspector Grayson appeared before me. I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking to me, I made no mistake. But it was me who kicked the door open. I'm looking again at the floor plans. Consider what would happen if the door of the room was thrown open with force. That can't... The door struck the newest board, knocking it over, and making the victim's body visible. Good gracious! My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw. Urgh. Order! Order! Pencil. Why has this not come to light before now? After the incident, somebody must have right at the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when we were investigating the room. Witness? What have you say for yourself? What? Me, Malone? You and your fellows were there at the scene before anyone else. Because what I was saying, that you must know something about the position of the notice board. The witness in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Stop looking over your glasses at me. I get the message. Mr. the Moon Boy. Already? I don't know anything about that they're known as sport. I just wipe my hands on it, that's all. Well, don't look at me. I ain't got a clue about it. I was just doing my business with some second years at a time. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just saying at the crossroads of life. It was a rebribe, man. He got a face that screams bored. I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. So none of you can elaborate further. She can ban a crime they witness on with only the light of a few candles and oil lamp by which to see. We can expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. That's right, yeah. It doesn't pay to expect too much. It's man's endless quest for knowledge that destroys the world. That's why I think... You really... In any case, as the testimony shows, even if this world was moved by someone violently innocent, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed the crime was Baron von Stix. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact. Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witness despite the circumstances? Most certainly, my lord. Very well. Then you may proceed, counsel. Well, let's see if we move on.
Hold it!
Okay. So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hands on? Admit it? What's to admit? It's there as plain as day for all to see. A smashing print of my right hand. Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint. Do you write the newsboard and pushed it into the corner, did you? No, imagine the wind with that red lump. Do I look like a powerful, well-nurtured man? Well, did you see anybody else moving the board? I got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself staring on it, over it. And there was a precious little lighter in his eye. Either my bound lip was all quivered. In other words, this witness is unable to give definitive testimony on that point. Yes, so it would seem.
Hold it!
When you say you were doing business with them, you mean that you were selling them fireworks? Yeah, what else? There's a privileged school just around the corner, you see. Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow up their school to kingdom come. So I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to. Oh, you have? Yeah. Wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. And praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see? What a racket. Of course, and sometimes the teacher gives me a little bonus to thank them for letting them know. It's a busy old life selling explosives. Just note this is there's context for anyone. This is Venus selling fireworks. Venus is a gulful goddess indeed. Well, Well, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it.
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich? If I say it was, just leave it at that. Would that be the end of it? No. Did Miss Fiend's statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts. Let's say there was a great liar. And then great liars say, without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too? Or the truth? In which case, she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you? What are you all about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. And that'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about. Have a startling disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady. So, Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich? Well, if it means I'd be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I've been saying. Can you elaborate, please, sir? Oh, I remember you're headed for the room where the gunshot came from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind me, too. That's right. The rotten liar over there. You mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime at all, after all? What did I tell you, eh? I said it was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I? Yes, you mentioned it. Well, with that revelation rocks the whole courtroom, didn't it? Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch? You did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief! Well, now you come to mention it, I suppose I perhaps do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room. Yeah. Either you clearly remember it or you don't. Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this Petrus act leader. For the time being, will merely amend your testimony to reflect the truth. Oh yes, my lord, of course. Maybe I did sneak behind Miss Gossip and have a little peek in the room where it all happened.
Hold it!
You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus? Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. You want my advice, though? I take everything I say with a big pinch of salt. Alright. But you did, in fact, go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you? Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying. The truth, please. Well, alright, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know. You touch anything at the scene? Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor. The truth? Please. Well, alright, just a bit then. I'd like to see if there's anything I could sell. And I did give the place a once over, but there was nothing to write home about. Right, Nah, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the nose work by any chance, did you? Oh please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had. The truth! Please. Well, alright then. I thought there might be something worth having under it. So I blasted the flipping thing. Sorry, flipped the blasted thing. You're telling us that you did move that board? I think that did slip out, didn't it? What? You daft barrowbot! I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think. So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps, to sell? Oh, please. I should be so. In my imagination, the truth! No! I might have found this old pocket watch under the nose board, I suppose. But a bit of junk like this can't be worth much if you ask. Ah! So it was you, was it? You're the one who took it! Gina? Young lady! May I remind you where you are? That watch there. That was a present to Inspector Grayson from the yacht. For a big kiss he solved 10 years ago. The professor's kiss, no doubt. The boss used to wind up every evening without fail. When he was waiting for his grub to come to at the pub. I see. I swiped it off at once and the line was a set. It gave me a right info. That I missed the day in the past 10 years. Polishing and winding it. It means the water to him. That watch did. Also not the best thing to go dipping for then. It's not all that though. I took the jab at sudden night and asked how much it's worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a pen for it. Said it wasn't working. Knocked about it worthless, he called it. Arrgh! I knew I should have lifted it. That watch must be submitted as evidence at once. Oh please, just as long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it from if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again. That's enough. Hand the watch to the pallet forthwith. Now, children, watch your manners. Lord. Glass appears to be broken. More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot. Doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabber didn't want it. What a waste, eh? Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5. Exactly when the gunshot was heard then. Which supports the prosecutor's claim, of course. Grayson's pocket watch. Alright. Okay, the glass over the face really is back. Look! What a shame when the inspector clearly looked after her carefully. I imagine the shoes could repaired, don't you? Yes, I should think so. It's very apt to things like this. I just want man to have a ride, in fact. I can't remember that he's a great detective, Miss Naru. Not an all-job man. There's a tiny little stuff sticking out from this hole. Here, look. I suppose it must be a little knob or something. On that for setting the time. In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of this watch. It's probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it? Yes, of course! Could mean that there's a small part flash that's still at the scene, maybe. Ah, there's a tiny little keyhole here. Can you see? Oh yes, that's probably for the winder to use the mechanism. It looks a little unusual, don't you think? Yes, you need the right key to wind it, I imagine. Why do I feel as though we have seen something a bit of a key that's about the right size to fit in this hole? Maybe we'll never read out the key. Let's check carefully or what we've already found. Maybe we already have. I just need to find it again. Hello! Mr. Sano! I think perhaps this key could be the key for Inspector Grayson's watch? Oh yes! It could be! Let's try it once, there's not a moment to lose. Yeah, the perfect fit. Look! The Inspector watch has started going again. Ah. So it was all... It just not been winded up, that's all. What is it, Mr. Sano? Well, the watch isn't actually broken at all. I have a feeling that it could be profound implication. It could have profound implications. She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I better start thinking deeply too. Well, here's the mystery of the movie News Wars Result Lost. And as predicted, it has little bearing on the hiss. Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please, Cancel. I don't think just by... Oh yeah.
Hold it!
But did you go and see what happened in the room, did you? Friends who street is my whole world, that's all I know, and I don't know all of it. I have to make my business is to know if I want to hold my sign up high. So you did go and see what happened. Oh, it's not the destination that's important, it's how you get there, isn't it? Did you notice no sport in the room? Hey, well, that's alright. Think about it. We're both the same species, are we? Both thermally members of the same family. So if I spotted it, I might have tried to trip it up out of the sense of rivalry I meant. Somebody really need to tell me that you're a Homo sapien, not Homo sanian. Does that mean you didn't lose the board? I can't only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. It's the sign of the crossroads light. In which case, just who's responsible for moving the news? Oh, that's... Alright. What exactly do you mean by that? Oh, come on now. Don't tell us you not noticed. It looks like he hits everything in the world, that fella. But not notice boards. They're the ones he likes. They're the one thing he likes. You can tell it in his eyes. I can't say I've ever noticed. Tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor. Or off the Reaper. Not for a second. Sorry? Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a feeling like that might do if you look away, you know. If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board. Aye, that like on. The Reaper did nothing of the sorts, I can swear to that. I couldn't have missed it if he heaved the whole thing upright and dragged it into the corner. Right, glad we have cleared that up. What happened to the face that screams bored? I feel your pain, Cosmo. Oh crap, was meant to... Where's my school on? As you pointed out, Miss Naruhodo, there's no question that the notice board was moved. Someone must have done it. But it did happen after the event, so... Maybe Cosmo's right and it's not relevant to the case. It seems to be deliberately positioned so as to hide the body for review. So I feel sure that there was some deeper significance to this. All this. I know what you mean. I've noted there's more clues to uncover. You're on the right tracks, I can feel it. So follow your instincts. Alright then.
Hold it!
Alright, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that all you heard was like bang, was it? Maybe the notice board fell over, maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over, or maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed either way, because of the gunshot we all heard. Your fate is sealed too. Your fate is my fate? That's right. The defendant's fate is to lose. And the prosecution to win. In other words, it's all hinged on that single gunshot. But if I find some problem with that part of the story, it may be possible to change all our fates. Of course, none of that changes the fact that I hurt, does it? Alright. We have a watch. Okay. If with the new pocket watch details, we have to consider our facts.
Objection!
Not that. Let's see his continuity in a number of ways. I think you'll find. I think you'll find. What number of ways, you say? That's right, my lord. In a number of ways. Perhaps it would serve you well to concentrate your efforts on one contradiction at a time, Quintel. I made a bit of a mess of that. Never was, actually. Oh!
Objection!
That makes sense. Let's load up again. Go for another 5.
Objection!
Alright, I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case. Oh. At the scene, we found this key into the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. Key? By having the pocket watch, we discovered that it in fact still works. See, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. What? Order! But Council, the watch was stopped almost exactly 5 o'clock. Yeah, which was just when we heard the gunshot. It is exactly the hour. The time that was shown on the watch tells us nothing other than when it went down. It was merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection.
Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. That's obviously when this crime was committed.
Objection.
No, that doesn't hold. Why not? The co-1 Inspector Letchford say only moments ago. The boss used to wind up every evening without fail. When he was waiting for his grub to come to the pub. That he had missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did. The victim was in the habit of winding his clock once a day, in the evening. So we can assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well. Yes, that would be entirely reasonable. But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down at 5 o'clock the following day. Oh, aye! Alright. Well, how do you explain it then? In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. You can't mean... What would stop a man from winding his watch if he'd been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer. He was already dead. Order! Council, this is a most extraordinary claim.
Objection.
Extraordinary isn't the word, it's absurd. You claim that he was already dead the night before? Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that? Well, on that subject, there is something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted. That's right. Wait a minute. You're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked the door in. What do you mean? Like I said, I planted my hands in the grip puddle of blood. Yes. So the victim's blood hadn't dried, it was fresh. Had some fast, doesn't he?
Objection.
But that blood could be explained in any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have poured.
Objection.
Some fresh blood could have been poured over the victim's body after he. Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner? Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human. The problem is currently being researched at present. You are correct. It is beyond our abilities. So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example. There's certainly a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all.
Objection.
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's beyond the question. Is it though? What? Given that the time of death of the victim was already been called into question, isn't it beyond the realm of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all? Oh please, what are you trying to say? Us let no way heard, and what we heard was a large bang that came from that room. Now use me. A street seller's ears are his livelihood. I don't doubt your ears, sir. But all of you can state with certain that you heard a noise. Eh? Explain yourself, Council? A noise that sounds like a gunshot. Could have been made with the Venus firecrackers. Something like this. Hopper could have set one off of these to fake a gunshot. Gracious! The fireworks that are sold by the witness. Hold on a minute. Are you saying that I did it? My precious little firecrackers are only made a little pop anyway, see? Not 100 of them together. In a special you sell for 600 pen, you sound like this. And the court can attest. That sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. Your chances is that somebody set one of those fireworks off at the scene. I'm suggesting that someone knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot. From these pillars of Franco Street to here.
Objection.
But even the accused himself testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person came to cause such a bang was Baron Fonseca. Why did I screw that up? One whiff of a match, my firecrackers could pop. See, that's why people liked them. I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Objection.
Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learned of a few useful inventions indeed. Something called a time bomb. Good heavens, a bomb! Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like. It's not our hodo. I worry that you're unfortunate freezing there mainly to yet another international incident. Oh, no, wait. It's the whatever you like part that's important. So whenever you like part. Time device? Yes, exactly, a time device. Seeing that of nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit left. Your extravagant claims will have to be sustained with evidence, Counsel. What proof do you have suggests that way that a time device could be employed to create the gunshot sound? Oh, that's evil.
Take that.
As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles of this dilemma has been blown off. Indeed, because it was struck by a bullet, which presumably passed through the victim. I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible? Why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle. There are. Goodness, yes! But isn't that the case? That there was also scorchings in the victim around the bullet entry wound? That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorchings like that only occur when the target is at close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun. Ah. Which means that the scorching of the candle can't possibly be the result of a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks? How could that be, eh? The fact that there's such a visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and the crackers were joined together. The culprit somehow attached the fireworks at the point part way down the candle. After the killer left the scene, candle slowly burnt down along with the other two. Until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firecracker, generating a loud that actually seems a lot possible. And that's how these three witnesses came to believe that they heard gunshots at 5 o'clock. Well, what a plot! And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we are led to believe. The previous day, even. No. Hold your horses! All of us out here saw the victim going into the building, remember? I couldn't forget the flame color her, even if I wanted to. That person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Considering this. Obviously, anyone can more awake. The person these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes earlier, before the incident occurred, could easily have been someone else entirely wearing the red hairpiece. Someone else? Do you mean to say it was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick? In other words, Inspector Grayson's killer. Oh, very impressive, Runasaki. Naruhodo. Kazuma? I'm really quite amazed you come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? I also knew the lack of time of death of this report. A stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Order! Prosecutor Sogi! What on earth do you mean, man, a statement? I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to deserve this trial today. We cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. But we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense assertion about the time of death is based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture. But while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it. Well, certainly, I would agree with you. And what immediately comes to mind, of course, is what was Inspector Grayson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried his investigation work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard. Even within the Yard? However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing when you, my learned friend. I do have a feeling about what case he may have been investigating. Yes, I agree, surely. Alone? Defense believes it can be explained to the court. The case that has been investigated by Inspector Grayson at the time of his death. Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence suggests of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident?
Take that!
I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. We might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation. Surely not! Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable. Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except, that is, in a certain crowd of gentlemen from the red-headed league. The red-headed league? So, the RA worked it out. What on earth is this all about? Woman, is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen? The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for grand deception. a reception of One Nature Council. They've been targeting Redhead, the man across of London, and tricking him into out of a small sum of money. 2 men were arrested for misdemeanors only yesterday, in fact. My lord, the defense calls for these 2 men to be summoned at once. 2 redheads? Inspector Grayson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece. It was very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to a more serious offense. I concur that we cannot, in good consensus, leave this new avenue unexplored. Well, Dumb is never heard of. Well, it's another possible line for inquiry for us, at least. Price here will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these 2 red-headed league conspirators before me, Patrick Sogi. At once, my lord. Very good. We'll have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned. Again, to be continued here? Yes, we are, and I'll set that as a wrap-up point. Not a bad run today. Alright. We're not done with part 1 yet. It looks. Oh, I think we're just done part 1. Or part 2 now. But I'm going to wrap things up for here. We will continue this next time, which was. So for now, I hope you all have a good day. I hope you have a good week. So we'll continue this next week. Tomorrow will be, well, Monster Hunter, and it's the original night, so that's going to be a thing. For a while. Aside of that, everything is just going to be normal schedule now, so we'll just go from there. Aside from that, though, I'll see you all next time. Bye.